Right.
Gonna get her. She okay.
She's fine. Just don't let the other ones down. Good morning, Mountains. We are live here in Warfield, Kentucky on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt and Bradley Dameron, D&D Sports Network beat writer on the website. Good morning, guys.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Hey, Bradley, is that a bash at the beach hat? Just out of curiosity.
It is a bash at the beach hat.
What year?
This would be a 96 bash at the beach hat.
I think I remember watching that. So interesting story. Back in the day, they used to actually have wrestling pay-per-views like every single, like at the end of the month at the Gilbert YMCA. You could pay
Really?
$10. You could pay $10 to watch them, and they would pull them up on a projector.
All right, guys, this segment is brought to you by Double Quick. Get it on the double at Double Quick as we're getting ready to get today's show started, guys. Today is July 25th. JJ, today's celebrity birthdays are what?
Okay, I want to wish a happy birthday to Matt LeBlanc. And for those that don't know him, he's one of the main characters from the TV show Friends.
Yep.
Finn Balor, a WWE superstar. Walter Payton. Some people know him as Sweetness. He was on the 1985 Super Bowl championship with the Chicago Bears. And an individual named Jafar Jackson. Now, for those that don't know who he is, he's actually Michael Jackson's nephew. And one of the reasons why I pointed him out is because he's actually going to be starring in the Michael Jackson biopic film that's coming out next year. And he's going to be playing his uncle.
And I cannot wait for that.
Me either. I'm very excited. He's one of my all-time favorite artists. Like, if I could pick one artist that I would pay to see, live, if they were dead or living, it would be him.
I would probably go with that. JJ.
Yeah. What about you, Bradley?
One artist?
Yes. If you could pay to see any artist all time, dead or alive, who would they
I'll
be?
go with the group. Iron Maiden.
Oh, wow.
Another good pick.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
I would skip out on that one, Bradley.
No, that's my stuff right there. Listen, everyone gets weird about Iron Maiden, but most of the time they're just singing about like history and stuff and literature.
And he's a historian.
I'll have to go check them out today. I'll check some Iron Maiden. I know Iron Maiden, but it's I'll have to check out their full catalog today, see if I'm missing anything. So as you go celebrity birthdays, I'm gonna go down my friends list here. Happy birthday, Marvin Boggs, Jennifer Reynolds, Caden Lawson, Pike Central forward, the big dog, Connor Napier. Happy birthday, Connor.
Happy birthday, man.
Pike County Superintendent, Freddie Napier, Austin Hatfield, Cross Taylor, and Mason Varney. Happy birthday, guys.
That's a lot of birthdays.
July 25th. JJ, what is in today's in history? What do you got?
Okay, in 1965, at the Folk Festival, American singer Bob Dylan actually converted from acoustic to electric guitar for the first time ever. Now, during that time period, he was known as somebody that was strictly a folk acoustic guitar player. And whenever he finally used an electric guitar for the first time ever, that was a big deal at the time. Okay, in the year 2000, a Concorde supersonic airplane, Air France Flight 4590, crashed outside of Paris, killing all 109 people on board and 4 others on the ground. Okay. In 1984, this one's a pretty interesting one. Svetlana Savitska, she's a Russian, became the first woman to ever walk in space.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And then I got one sports one. In 1990, Roseanne Barr sings the national anthem at Cincinnati Reds San Diego Padres game.
That goes down as one of the worst national anthems of all time. Until the young lady the other day at the MLB All-Star game topped her with that hideous national anthem that she tried to sing.
At least she had a valid excuse. I mean, we could at least believe she was drunk. I mean, you're a 4-time Grammy-nominated artist. Surely, and you're an American. So, surely you'd have to have,
Hey, I'm a big Roseanne Barr fan myself.
Okay. She had a good show back in the day.
I'm not a fan of her off the screen, but on the screen, I love Roseanne, and it still converts over to today. You can watch Roseanne and still laugh.
Absolutely, and a lot of her messages are still relevant today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because all the shows back in the 90s.
No, I'll say this.
Go ahead, Brad.
At least Roseanne had a bad excuse for not being able to sing it well because she's not a singer.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The recent country singer, I mean, she makes me think the old Grammys just ain't what they used to be, but bad.
You're cutting in and out just a little bit, Bradley. As we're sitting here, also this day in history, Ulysses S. Grant becomes the first ever general of the U.S. Army. Now, 1960, North Carolina drops the segregation policy. And then today, July 25th, 1978, the first ever test tube baby was born.
Interesting.
Yeah, very significant stories in history. So as we get through today's in history, today's birthdays, let's go to the biggest story, and it's probably going to be the biggest story for the next 6 months, and that's the U.S. elections. Now, Donald Trump spoke last night, and Kamala Harris, she also spoke the other day, and in front of 70,000 people, Donald Trump spoke. Kamala Harris filled a high school gym with nearly 2,000 people. Guys, not looking good for the Democrats in this election.
Well, I mean, the venue kind of it is what it is. I mean, I've seen elected presidents in gyms like that too, but outside of that, I don't think it looks good. I think it's a bit late for Kamala Harris to come in. Can she win? Sure, anything can happen, but I think it's looking rough. I think I really honestly think that if the Democrats had a while back been a bit more forward about like I think I shouldn't say Democrats, Biden's inner circle have been a bit more forward about like, hey, maybe the guys, done that horrible thing have gotten a bit old where he's not able to do this anymore. And I think that should have been kind of more at the forefront than, really Kamala Harris was our only choice right now at this stage of the game. And it's, I don't see it, but I didn't see Trump being elected the first time either. But you know what? Things happen.
Guys, I just found something neat. We mentioned birthdays, and we said the big dog Connor Napier. Well, it is also Kiara Thornsberry's birthday.
Oh, wow.
And for you guys that don't know, they are a couple. So that's very interesting that they have the same birthday. And it's actually Connor's 18th birthday.
That is crazy. Like, you don't find couples that share the same birthday very often. I mean, you occasionally find couples that have the same last name, but they're not related. But to find two people that have the same birthday, I mean, that's got to be a rarity.
Appreciate the update there, Whitey Little. As guys, and speaking of the election, can I show you guys something that I thought was very funny yesterday that I found on the internet?
Here we go.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get them, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old boy, they wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.
Guys, I love it. I love the Trump campaign. I love that they come out with that, and it killed me when I seen Hillary on Boss Hog.
That should definitely be something that we add to our show, like the funny viral clip of the day, whether it's politics or anything like that. I love seeing little videos like that.
Never change, internet. Never change. That's
what do they say?
Yeah.
The internet's undefeated.
The internet is undefeated, and it doesn't matter who you are; they're coming for you at some point.
So speaking of the elections, it seems like the Democrats are kind of narrowing down on their vice presidents for Kamala Harris, and right now one of the leaders, and it looks like the big leader in the clubhouse, may be Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear.
Oh, wow. So we got the battle of Kentuckians, like who's the true Kentuckian or something like that.
Well, I know during COVID, Kentucky was very proud at first of Andy Beshear because he come out and seemed like, his laws was, great, and, everything he had overwhelming drove of support during the COVID era. Then I think he started rubbing some people wrong as it ended. some of his policies seemed like he was just late to the party on a lot of them. But Kentucky, he built a lot of fans, and in particular, a lot of female fans during that time. Because if you remember, they had the shirts that come out, the Government Daddy shirts, where all the women was going crazy over Andy Bashir. And but I still think Donald Trump. It don't matter, even though he's Andy's the governor. I think Donald Trump would carry this state quite heavily.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I don't care who they put in there. Like as far as like they're choosing to be vice president. Like they can't win. there's no way.
What's your thoughts, Bradley?
In Kentucky, I think that Trump's going to win Kentucky. I think he's going to win Kentucky and West Virginia both easily.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that there's some play left, but like I said, it's just so late in the game.
Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to tell you about the La Familia team, Kentucky's La Familia team, and what they did to Marshall's. Heard that yesterday. Plus, we got a lot of interesting news topics coming up. And don't forget, 8:30, QB1 from Paintsville, Kentucky, A.J. Johnson. You're watching the Startup Morning Show here with J.J. Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, and Darryl McCoy. Drug today and let them fill your prescription. Eric Holman Drug has been serving the Chapmanville community for over 46 years. They're a proud supporter of the Chapmanville Tigers and all mountain athletes.
Bruce Walters Kia. By now you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Back here on the Startup Morning Show here on the D&D Sports Network, J.J. Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, and Darryl McCoy. Guys, yesterday, Kentucky's La Familia team in the TBT tournament takes down Heard That 95-66, and check out the James Young three-pointer to seal the deal at the end. No surprise there. James Young, 3 for 4 from the field. And if you remember, he done that back in, I think it was 2015 or 16, I think it was. And shot a shot way early. And they asked him what he thought. And he said he wasn't paying attention to Calipari during the play. So he just took the shot that wasn't designed for him, but he ended up making it. Big shot, James, still at it, guys.
It's been fun watching La Familia play. Let's face it, that's basically University of Kentucky Part 2, so it's been fun watching it. Heard That, was in the semifinals last year of the basketball tournament, so that's a really impressive win, and they're moving on to the Elite Eight.
John Elmer, one of the better players, that was a huge win.
Yeah, John Elmore has been a great player. Was a great player at Marshall, but they also had like Stevie Browning and whatnot on Heard That.
Did Stevie play last night?
I'm not sure if he played last night. He was on the team.
Well, that's huge. Stevie's over the NIL deal. He took over the NIL project at Marshall now, so he's the main NIL guy there. So congrats to former Logan guy, Stevie Browning, on everything. By the way, guys, this segment is brought to you courtesy of Tug Valley Wellness Clinic. Don't forget, Royal Health is very important. You don't want to have to drive hours in cases of emergencies or to see your regular doctor, especially with the way that gas is nowadays. Royal Health, right here in Lenore, West Virginia, Tug Valley Wellness Clinic is the best. All right, guys, here we go. Babe Ruth. Didn't know if you guys seen, but his jersey where he called the famous shot, the home run, is up for sale. Want to know how much? $30 million, guys. Any of y'all, any chance any of y'all would pay that for Babe Ruth jersey?
What's my bankroll? Like, what kind of money do I have to work with? Like, what is my net worth if you're asking me that? I mean, if I'm a billionaire, maybe. Because it's a significant piece of history. I mean, everybody's like, he's widely considered as the greatest baseball player ever. Baseball's been around for about 200 years or something like that, or 150 years. So, I mean, and a lot of people are really big on, the history of baseball. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that it's because if they're selling baseball cards, like, for example, the most expensive baseball card is a 1952 Mickey Mantle card. And that recently sold for $12 million.
That's not the Honus Wagner anymore.
No, and I don't understand that because they've, there's only 50 Honus Wagner cards that are in existence, and there's like 1,000 Mickey Mantle cards, but there's only a few that are graded at like a 10. But even then, it's like there are 50 and hundreds and thousands of cards. But as far as Babe Ruth jerseys, you may have maybe 5 or 10 that are still in existence. So I would say that's a significant piece of history.
The thing is, today's players wear they'll have a bunch of jerseys during the season. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Back then, you pretty much here's your jersey.
Yeah.
Here's your jersey for the season.
Yeah,
and
you might get 2 jerseys if you're lucky. A home jersey and an away jersey, maybe.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of, and this wasn't even as far back, but like an old Hank Aaron Milwaukee Brewers jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. That was one of his jersey of that color for the whole year. And by the end of the year, you can see it's a bit torn and battered and, probably didn't look that good up close, but that was his jersey that year.
So I got a question for both of you guys. I'll go with you first, Bradley. If you could own any piece of sports memorabilia throughout history, what would it be? Same for you, Darryl.
Any piece of sports memorabilia in history.
Yeah, that you could get your hands on.
I got it. One of Jesse Owens' gold medals.
One of them actually made the auction block years ago. I think it sold for like $1.2 million or something like that.
That would just be. I always thought that the whole story of Jesse Owens going into Germany, Nazi Germany, under Hitler, and pretty much just like, master race this and stormed past everyone. I always thought that was one of the greatest things ever in sports. So, favorite teams and all that aside, I think I would take that.
That's a tough question. Trying to.
Anybody in the comments section? I'd love to know your answers as well.
I'm a huge NBA fan. Maybe the '98 championship Jordan jersey. Something like that would intrigue me. Maybe the jersey when Kobe scored 81. That would be, or the final his final game. It would be something like that, I would think. But just for craps and giggles, I'd like to have Bill Buckner's baseball. I'd like to have the what was his name? The guy.
What sport did he play?
Steve, the guy that caught the foul ball for the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, Steve Bartman.
Oh, Steve Bartman, yeah.
Yeah, Steve Bartman. I'd like to have that ball, just to say you had it. But, and I tell you something, I would like to have one of Tom Brady's footballs just to see what the air pressure is.
Oh, come on now.
I don't know if that air pressure would hold up anyway, but I do want to bring out Stevie Browning did play last night. He hit a 3-pointer in the game.
Oh, good. Good. See one of our local guys going at it, and congratulations to Stevie there. Big fans of Stevie. Now, guys, LeBron at the top of another list. Don't know if you guys seen this, but all-time turnovers list. LeBron, 5,199. He edges Russell Westbrook by nearly 1,000. Then Karl Malone, Moses Malone, shocker, John Stockton, Kobe Bryant, Jason Kidd, Julius Erving, Artis Gilmore, James Harden, Isaiah Thomas, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, Paul Pierce, Magic Johnson, Reggie Theus, Steve Nash, and Tim Duncan. No surprise there at the point guards because they handle the ball a lot more. So
yeah, John Stockton, he played 20 years in the league or 19.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything from Stockton, Magic, Isaiah, because they had the ball in their hands a lot more, so there's more opportunity. But still, just when you go by the GOAT debate, one guy I didn't see was Michael Jordan on there.
Yeah, he rarely ever turned over the ball. So I mean,
I will say this.
Go ahead.
Sorry, in LeBron's defense, and I don't do that very often, but in his defense, he does pretty much serve as the team's point guard, even though he's not the point guard. He has the ball so much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's always been ball dominant. Everything's ran through him, and that's like one of the reasons why I think he hasn't won as many championships is because like the offense is tailored to him instead of him being in a true offense like the triangle or something like that. He literally just gets the ball and they tell him to make all the decisions.
NFL looking to move to 18 games, guys. What's your thoughts?
I mean, look, I'm always a fan of more football. I'm not sure how much the players are a fan of that because, that is one more game where it's a risk to injury, one more game. And they may be cutting down on the preseason games, which, let's face it, that last preseason game doesn't matter a whole lot anyway. I think most coaches and teams know who they're keeping at that point.
I think that the only people that's really going to be happy about it are the players that really don't see that much playing time. So it'll be an easy paycheck for them. But it's like if you look back to last year, the opening game of the season, what was it, the first play that Aaron Rodgers got injured?
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes to show like how easy it is to get injured or how quickly it can happen. So if you put 2 more games in there, I mean, yeah, I'm like you guys. I mean, it's that more injury prone for sure.
Yeah. I mean, when they're at 17 now, I mean, I know it's like what, people will say things, well, it's just one more game, but every time you do, it's just one more game. That's still one more game.
Well, and here's the thing, they might not like it right now because they're in the middle of contracts, but the next contract's going to go up and they're going to like that. So, at the end of the day, you cut down on preseason games, add regular season games. Listen, I think it's a plus. I do think that the players, I don't know that they're all for it, but at the end of the day, it's going to bring in a lot more money for the NFL, and that's why it's happening.
Hey, as long as the money comes in, everyone's going to be okay with it. I think ultimately.
We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. AJ Johnson joining us at 8:30. Come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show.
Pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones.
D&D Auto Sales. Right now, guaranteed credit approval. No credit, bad credit, good credit, it don't matter. Guaranteed credit approval 100% right now at J&B Auto Sales. Stop by and see them today in DeVore, Kentucky. Crum Funeral Home in DeVore, Kentucky is committed in giving the highest quality funeral services for a fair and reasonable price. If you don't want to have to deal with heavy financial obligations during your grieving process, come see us at Crum Funeral Home. Our staff is ready to serve you.
We're back here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, Darryl McCoy here. This segment is sponsored by Justin Markham, attorney at law. If you're looking for the outcome that you deserve and the judgment you've been waiting for, call Markham Law Office today, located in Williamson, West Virginia. Guys, without further ado, we got the QB1 of the Paintsville Tigers, AJ Johnson. Good morning, AJ.
Good morning, Darryl.
How you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing good. Y'all, so what's AJ doing right now? Y'all going through two-a-days? Y'all going, what time y'all practice? When y'all practicing?
We're just practicing one time a day right now. We're going from 6 to 8. It's every day.
Okay. They've kind of, I think they've kind of got rid of two-a-days in today's football, especially with the heat and stuff. The Trevor Hoskins, or Coach Hoskins, I mean, you've got to, I guess, learn under him a couple of years now, now that he's got his feet wet and he's kind of, you guys have got to learn him. He's got to learn you guys. How's Coach doing right now? And, how's your relationship with the coach?
Our relationship's great. I mean, we got a great on and off the field bond, and he's taught me a lot. I really like the guy.
Yeah, they now you take over a storied program like Paintsville. They won a championship in its 100th year as a school just a few years ago. And then when Coach Cherico left, y'all kind of, I wouldn't say, well, y'all had a couple good years, and then last year, it was back. Y'all had a lot of young talent, and the surprising part is how Coach Hoskins believed in you young guys and, put y'all in at the skilled positions, and he had trust in you at QB. Talk about, coming in as young as you were playing that position and, what the feelings was in the first season.
At the beginning, there was a little bit of pressure, but I'm the type of guy that wants to be in that situation. So I just worked hard for it and proved a point. All
right, JJ, I always let you get to them before I go too deep in. So go ahead and ask your questions.
AJ, man, it's really nice to meet you. I don't really know much about your game. I'm still learning about all of the players in the mountains. Can you tell me about like some of the players that you model your game after?
I always think of Lamar Jackson because I can throw it, but I'm even better on my feet whenever I'm running or scrambling out of the pocket.
So what would you rather do, throw a 50-yard bomb or run a 50-yard touchdown?
Man, probably throw a 50-yard bomb.
A 50? Fair enough. What's your 40 time?
Roughly 4.6, right around.
Oh, 4.6 is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. What about your roster for this year? And also, like, who's some of your notable competition? Like, do you think that you guys have a good shot to make a run at state this year?
I've got a lot of great talent around me, and I think we're just going to see what we can do as a team.
Well, that's terrific, man. And who's some of your notable competition, like some of your rivalries and stuff like that?
We play Prestonsburg again. We play them at their place this year. I think that'll be another game. Last year it was a 2-point win, but we won. It was 40-38. It was a tough game though.
Oh, wow. And I'll give you one last question before I turn it over to Bradley. What would you rather do, win at home or on the road?
Win at home for sure.
Fair enough. Okay.
And AJ, I tell you, first of all, the 4-6 is really impressive. They timed me with a sundial, so I'm pretty impressed with that. Last year, I'm sure you learned some things a lot along the way, because playing at the high school level, it's a big adjustment. What things did you take away from that you're going to bring into this year? Some things you need to improve on coming into the season.
A couple things that I've really studied and need to improve on is getting all the way through my progressions and having better pocket pressure instead of just one out of the pocket. Just making sure to make a throw.
And that comes a lot of that with experience. Feeling the pressure is more often, you'll get used to it. You also were able to help the team win a playoff game last year. Just talk a little bit about that experience. Like you helped take the Tigers to the playoffs, and you won a game, and we ended up finishing 6-6. Just tell us a little bit about that whole thing.
There was a little bit of nerves going into our playoff win, the game, but I just looked at it as another challenge and wanted to be the leader of our team. So I gave it my all, and my guys were behind me.
Yeah,
and I know you said you'd rather throw a 50-yard bomb, but is there a play last year that stands out in your mind that when you finished it, you're like, yeah, I did that. That was my. Is there just a play that you remember that really vividly?
Leslie County on the road last year, I threw 2 perfect balls to my guy Anderson, and those 2 really stuck out to me.
Yeah, things got to be pretty easy with Anderson Loffer out there on the edges. He had a fabulous season there with you. But as I'm sitting here looking, AJ, nearly 1,000 all-purpose yards, 14 touchdowns in your first season at QB. Right now, as you're looking at the team and what you're seeing right now, 7-on-7. Coach Hoskins, is he going to come out and y'all going to be more of an air raid team, or y'all going to put the rock on the ground?
I think we're fully capable of both, but I think we're definitely going to pass it a lot more this year. We've got a great receiving core. Definitely people I can count on to make a play.
Well, they whenever you sit here and look, Paintsville, growing up, I mean, you got all the great names in just, your time growing up, starting with Cash Daniel, you got the Phelpses, you got a lot of big names that's come through that Paintsville football program. Who was as a kid, who was some of the names that you looked up to as Paintsville Tigers?
I loved watching Cash. I was young, and he was definitely the guy that I looked up to. Okay.
Now, whenever you taken look, the other day we had a young man on, and he said that he had Paintsville circled on his calendar, and that was one Crayson Lafferty, your old teammate. How excited are you for the Martin County game?
I'm ready.
Who wins that one?
I've got to take us.
Now, whenever, what I want to ask you is, you've been there through the change. Is y'all got that beautiful new stadium. They put turf down there in Paintsville. Myself, I miss Paintsville got as muddy as any school I've seen when it would rain, and kind of missing that. As far as you go, would you rather play on the grass or the turf?
Probably rather play on the grass.
Okay.
Like our old field, and I miss it.
Yeah, I do too. I thought that Paintsville was one of the most unique fields that we had in the mountains, set right there in the middle of town. I just thought it was something special. I love the turf, and I do think that, it gives you guys, grass nowadays gives teams disadvantages because so many teams play in turf, and then once you get to state, you're playing on turf, and, so it gives you a chance to get used to it a little more, but, give me grass all day long. Now, AJ, whenever you are a dual sport athlete, if AJ could play college athletics in one sport, football, baseball, which is it?
Football, for sure.
Oh, okay. And guys, that's very interesting because AJ is quite the baseball player too. I don't know whether you guys know that or not. AJ is whenever you take and look to where you're at today, you've had to have a lot of people impact your life, step up, play part in, training you and getting you to where you're at today. Who were some of the mentor and the people that helped you get to today?
My greatest mentor, and will always be my greatest mentor, is my dad.
Okay. Now where do you do your training at?
I train at, before the season started back up, I was training with Corey Hayes and on my own time too. And now I'm going to the field every morning to work out and then work out in the gym after practice.
Okay, well, we know one of the most important relationships on the field, as a quarterback, it's definitely with your wide receiver, but maybe even more important is with your offensive line. What's your offensive line looking like right now?
They're looking great, man. The 7-on-7 challenges they've had, they've looked amazing. They look great in practice. I'm looking forward to the season behind them.
Give us some of them names across the line because they don't always get mentioned.
Tayton, he's one of our best guys. Jackson Farrar, Cooper Case, Ethan Baker, and Austin Webb.
All right. Now, what's in your mind? Who's your biggest rival on the football field?
Probably Prestonsburg.
Okay. Now, whenever you take and look at the city of Paintsville, it's very hard. People don't understand. If you're a Paintsville kid, you're a Paintsville kid. If you're a Johnson Central kid, you're a Johnson Central kid. But what y'all do got in common is y'all share that great city of Paintsville. What makes Paintsville so special, AJ?
It's a small town. You know everyone there. You just feel welcomed here.
Okay, well, before I go into your fan questions here, JJ's telling me he's got another question for you. JJ, go ahead.
This is somewhat of a fan question. You said that you were a pitcher in baseball?
Pitcher?
Yeah, is that your position?
I play pitcher and shortstop, yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. In the entire history of baseball, over 238,000 games have been played, and only 24 perfect games have been pitched. If you were in the major leagues and you had a chance to either win a World Series ring or throw a perfect game, which one would you choose?
World Series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a good one.
Don't surprise me, AJ choosing championships over self-accolades. That's the kind of kid he is, JJ.
I like it.
The AJ, if you could take one teammate to war with you and would be in the foxhole with you, who would it be?
It's gonna have to be Tayton.
Okay. All right. I don't blame you. I'd have that big house cat too. You gotta have somebody that's got you 6, right? AJ, what's your favorite cereal?
Probably Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, there we go. That's the second one.
Two.
No surprise because the only other person that said that was Crayson, and sounds like to me y'all have had a couple sleepovers, right?
Yeah, a couple there.
What's your favorite shoe?
Nike for sure.
Okay. What kind of cleats you rock?
This year I'm wearing the Jordan cleats, the low.
Oh yeah. Now whenever you take and look at around Paintsville, what's your favorite restaurant in Paintsville?
Probably the Mexican restaurant.
Which one? There's 1,000 of them.
No, I'd probably just say Bob Evans.
Okay.
Likes that.
I can dig some Bob Evans.
Man.
Now, AJ, favorite NFL team?
Chiefs.
Okay.
Sure.
The favorite NBA team?
Phoenix Suns.
Favorite MLB team?
Probably the Yankees.
There you go.
I got one more, Darryl.
College team?
Tennessee.
Go ahead, JJ.
Okay, so you're a pitcher. If you could pitch against one single player throughout MLB history, who would it be?
Bryce Harper.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one.
I think AJ could get him. I think AJ'd strike him out, JJ. If we was to look in AJ's playlist right now, top 3 artists, who is it?
Dang. I listen to all kinds of different music. I really like country music, so I'd say Luke Combs, Zach Bryan, and Morgan Wallen.
Now AJ, you have the best playlist that I've heard so far. I can rock that. I can rock AJ's playlist, guys. The rest of them, I don't know, AJ, but I tell you, one guy I wouldn't ever listen to is OT7 Quantum. But as we move on here, celebrity crush.
I ain't got one, honestly.
Okay. Favorite sports movie?
The Sandlot.
Okay. Going back old school. Now, if you could meet any sports figure in your life in the world, who would it be?
I'd say Peyton Manning.
Okay. Now, stranded at sea, got 3 people you could take with you, whether it's people in your life or movie stars. Who would it be?
Probably take some teammates. I'd take Anderson, Peyton, probably Cole.
Okay. I'm sure you guys would have some fun and probably catch a lot of fish. Y'all got a big bass fishing team there at Paintsville. You ever thought about joining that?
I have plenty of times.
It'd be interesting. I'd like to see AJ Johnson out on the lake sooner than later, but I'm sure Coach Kenner probably pushes you that way too, don't he?
Yeah.
He's a big fisherman himself. But AJ, this season, what do you hope to accomplish as a Paintsville Tiger?
For myself, I would like to accomplish having over 1,000 passing yards by the end of the season.
All right. Now, whenever you take a look, dream college, where do you want to go to school, and who would you like to pick up some offers from?
I would love to go to Tennessee to play football.
Oh, well, AJ, we finally found something we disagree on. I think you'd look ugly in that orange.
No.
And I definitely wouldn't be. Well, I don't know if you was there. I'd have to turn a little Rocky top on, but that's the only way you're gonna get me rooting for the Vols. AJ, as we're coming up the upcoming season, this is a big year for you, man. You picked up a lot of fanfare last year, and right now, I've heard some good things coming out of 7-on-7. Here you're looking good. I've not got a chance to what you yet, but I'm excited for this season. I think you and Anderson Lawfer may be the one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver quarterback duo in the mountains. Paintsville fans are going to be very excited this year. I hope you guys have the season that you are looking for, and just want to wish you the best this season. And I can't wait to see you out there on the field, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining us, AJ.
Sir.
Now, guys, I don't know whether y'all know it or not, but in baseball, it's surprising that he likes football a lot more because he is one heck of a baseball player. So, and growing up in middle school, that's what he was more known for, was on baseball side of things.
Oh, wow. I mean, to be a pitcher and a shortstop, like usually, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the shortstop is considered the best player on the team for the most part, or the most skilled player?
Normally.
So he's a pitcher and has one of the most skilled positions. So, I mean, yeah, that is surprising.
It'd be second base, shortstop, somewhere around there. If you just talk, straight infield skill, usually your corners are your power hitters, and but
shortstop's usually one of your speed guys that can cover a lot of area. Like shortstop's one of those positions where a lot of times defense is the priority than over offense.
Right.
Yeah, he is. Jason Blair tuning in from Anderson County. We see Barbie Bussy says, "Go AJ, we love you." Said John and I are watching from the beach. So enjoy your time out there, Barbie. And Jason, thanks for always tuning in from Anderson County, Kentucky. As we sit here and look, guys, Paintsville Tigers, they're in Class A. They took that state championship. Then Coach Cherico, he ended up going up to GRC, and they had a couple of good years after the title. But last year was kind of a rebuilding year with all that talent. I think that AJ and the crew, I think they got enough talent there. And this year, I really think it's up to the line. If the line holds up, I think Paintsville's going to have a really good season.
I'm looking forward to seeing where they progress. We know they have, that program has been built up. And I think they can be really good this year as well.
Yeah, and they got one of the best football minds they are in Coach Hoskins. He's a guy that really, he's a forward thinker. I think that he's going to put these kids in the right position. And, it's a storied history, and at Paintsville, they're one of them programs where you can't have too many down years. And even though, 500 is solid for most schools, Paintsville ain't going to deal with that, and I can promise you, Coach Hoskins this season, he's going to have them boys ready to play. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the Paintsville Tigers bring to the table this season, because Anderson Lawfer at one time last year, I can't remember what the official stat was, but it was like every pass he was catching for long touchdowns. And somebody in the fan section, Paintsville fans, can let me know what exactly record that was that he was breaking. But he was averaging like 70 yards a catch.
70 yards a catch.
Yeah, that was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, so definitely looking forward to that. And back to what he was saying, turf or grass. Guys, a lot of studies have been coming out saying that turf is, there's a reason why when professional soccer comes over here, whenever we have the World Cup, that these other teams will not play or practice on turf. And they've done all the studies, and a lot of these injuries are coming from turf. But the thing is, these schools are spending so much money to put turfs in. Do you ever think we'll get to the day to where schools will be removing turf, going back to grass?
I think it depends. Well, I mean, like around here, I don't think so. I think if we were in like a warmer area, like don't get me wrong, right now it's been plenty warm, but like where I'm talking like down the south, I think it's one of those situations. I know, like I'll just say this: at the collegiate level, teams were losing playoff games for like small schools and stuff because of the condition of a grass field over the course of the season. And boy, I've seen some grass fields at the end of the year. If you have professional maintenance, that's one thing, but a lot of times at these schools you don't. And some of those fields at the end of the year are pretty dangerous.
I could see it going back. I don't know it's anytime soon. Like if it does, it's probably 20 years from now or something, because it would take a long time to start getting things back to the grass fields. But with the studies that has been done, there's no doubt. Common sense will tell you the injuries are up. And you take all that pounding, year after year. And you think kids are starting to play even earlier now, and they're playing on turf, and you're seeing so many more ACL tears, meniscus. I think there's common sense tells you a lot of it's got to do with the surface they're playing on, but it goes back to like you said, you got to make sure that even I don't know. Even with grass, even if you don't take care of your field good, most things you're normally going to get is a turned ankle. Now, there'll be people land on your leg wrong, stuff like that that you can't prevent. But, I could one day see it, but I think it's going to take a lot more studying and a lot more focus on the injury issue to get it back to the way that it used to be and playing on grass fields. But it would not surprise me if one day, even if we don't go back right away, I could see them start to slow down on, changing from grass to turf.
I can see that. I can see that slow down. Well, I'll tell you, just like on a professional level, and again, you have that professional maintenance. The Eagles, in Philadelphia, their turf field was notorious for how bad it was. And now, they play Lincoln Financial Field, up there now is a grass surface. So when you're at that level, I see a lot of like pro teams, and like high level colleges that have that type of funding, where they can do it. They're already scaling away from the turf if possible, except for like the domed stadiums and all that.
What's your thoughts, JJ?
I would be really curious to know, like, players' opinions on the turf as well. Like, that would be something I would love to, ask a coach or a player, because I'm not really educated enough to know, because I've never played football before, so I don't really know like how much of a difference it really is. But I would definitely love to, like the quarterback that we just had on here, I would have loved to have asked him his thoughts on playing on turf and stuff like that.
And Darryl, you mentioned like soccer and stuff. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but at one point I was working in collegiate soccer. And when I was working there, Appalachian State used a turf field. And not only was the injury thing, the ball just bounces completely different. Like it's, you ever bounce a ball on a grass field and then bounce it on concrete?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very different. Everything just bounced weird on turf.
Well, I tell you this, it would not shock me. Again, we see one of our favorite officials, Chad Varney, tuning in. So we definitely want to take and ask him, because he's an official. He can tell us the impact that they have. So, as an official, let us know what the feeling is between turf and grass for you, Chad, and where you would do it. And then we'll have David Jones chime in on it too. So, guys, well, Bradley, you was talking before we go to commercial break real quick. For you folks that didn't know, world record for heat, the global average temperature, 62.7. Now, 62.7 global temperature, that broke the record on Sunday. Now, on Tuesday was the second hottest day. So this is the hottest week in history so far. it's not really feeling like that around here. You know, we had, I think Monday it felt really hot, but the rest of it, it's not been smothering hot, guys. You know, are you surprised with the world record heat that we're having right now?
I mean, I'm not shocked by it. Listen, I mean, I know here lately we're kind of on a bit of a mild summer streak, which thank goodness for that. But, you know, if you remember right before that, it was just blazing every day, even at night. You know, we had a night here where it was, I think the lowest it got was 78. And so it's just been, I'm not shocked. I mean, I saw a thing in Death Valley, if you know, last week where it reached 131. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely world record. We're going to take a very quick commercial break here, guys. We're up against the break. We'll come right back, do our county of the day, and then don't forget, 9:15, Travis Graff, as he is a professional basketball analyst, coming on and joining us, talk about the Made Hoops camp this weekend in Louisville. Come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, and Darryl McCoy.
Incorporated Little Flower Clinic announcing help needed. We're seeking donations of gift cards to help us make a difference for our homeless and at-risk patients. Gift cards will be used for new clothing, new underwear, and personal hygiene items. If you're interested in helping, please contact us. Call Kendra Cole at 606-487-9505, extension 342, or mail your gift cards to Little Flower Clinic, 279 East Main Street, Hazard, Kentucky, 41701.
Pass, bring them to Hall and Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall and Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall and Jones.
Walters Kia. By now, you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
You're watching the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, and Darryl McCoy here, guys. As we're moving on, we got a couple comments coming in. Matt Maynard says grass is way better. Jason Blair says, when and what time is Jackson's first game down here? I'll try to find out what time it kicks off. We'll try to ask Travis Graff that, and I'll let you know, Jason. We'll have Travis Graff on here in just a few moments here. So at 9:15. County of the day, guys. We're going to go back up to the 16th region for the day. Sound good to you guys?
I'm cool with it.
Good.
Greenup County, named after Christopher Greenup, 3rd Kentucky governor. All right. Revolutionary War vet as well. Population of Greenup County, 35,962. Greenup County is a moist county. All right. Greenup County is located on the Ohio River. It was founded in 1803 on December 12th. County seat, Greenup. Largest city, Flatwoods. 354 square miles. 10 miles of that is water. No surprise there because there's a lot of lakes up there in Greenup County. Now, Greenup County was made from parts of Mason County. It starts the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. Mostly farmland with rolling hills is what the landscape is there in Greenup County. Let's see. They're popular for fishing. You can go fishing. Popular fishing spots, Greenbow Lake, Tigers Creek, Little Sandy River, and the Ohio River. Used to be home to nearly 50 tobacco farmers. Now, as we're sitting here, the new way in Greenup County is they sell and raise a lot of American quarter horses, ostriches, and marijuana. So Greenup County kind of catching up with the times a little bit. Ostrich farms, marijuana, and American quarter horses. Any surprise there?
The marijuana part, because we're in Kentucky, right? So I didn't think that it was legal.
You could still farm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not legal. You can farm, and they still got hemp and all that stuff. So and there's actually out west there's probably as many, if not more, marijuana farms in Kentucky as just about any state. That the western part of Kentucky, that's what it's really known for right now.
I never knew that.
I mean, listen, legal or not, it doesn't surprise me that in this region there's a lot of marijuana farms. I'll just say that.
What are you saying, Bradley? You're toking up a doobie here and there?
I'm not saying I'm toking one up. I'm just saying that I have eyes and I have a nose that sometimes may smell a little something here and there.
He's got a set of lungs too.
That's just the skunk you're smelling, Bradley. The major highways: US 23, AA Highway, and the Industrial Parkway. Towns in Greenup County: Greenup, South Shore, Wortland, which is where Raceland's at, Russell, and Flatwoods. Border counties: Boyd, Carter, Scioto County, Ohio, Lewis County, and Lawrence County, Ohio. Population high: Greenup County reached a population high in 1980, 39,132. Today it sits at 35,962. So not a big population drop for Greenup County. Males median income: 34,475. Women's median income: 21,198. So big difference there. Almost $13,000 difference between males and females, but the women's still up 21,000. That's pretty high compared to most of the counties we've went through.
And I think that might be 3,000 more on the male side, because the average is usually like 30 to 31.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it's much higher.
High schools in Greenup County: Greenup County High School, Raceland, and Russell. The pride of Greenup County, Tyson Salmon's quarterback a couple years ago. Raceland, Logan Lundy, and then with Russell, you've had a lot of good players. Too many to name for Russell. Places of interest in Greenup County: East Park, Greenbow Lake, Raceland Racecourse, and guys, I don't know if you've ever been traveling up 23 and ever seen the Veterans Memorial over on the side of the road. Have you ever seen it, Bradley?
I have, but it's been a while.
I know JJ hasn't seen it because he hasn't been out and meet one much, but it's pretty neat. I got a lot of pictures. We've stopped there a lot of times coming back from my mother's to let the kids take pictures on. They got like one of the boats at the Normandy, like whenever they invaded Normandy, the beaches of Normandy, and got one of them boats. They got helicopters, airplanes. You can go take pictures and tell stories about them. I mean, it's pretty neat. But famous people from Greenup County. One that JJ may know, Billy Ray Cyrus.
Really?
Yep.
Achy breaky heart.
Do you not remember me telling you the Billy Ray Cyrus story?
You've told me a couple of Billy Ray Cyrus stories.
Yeah, he's Billy Ray Cyrus. I met him in Greenup County before. He used to be a truck mechanic.
Yeah, this is before he hit big.
Yeah, before he hit big. The Don Gullett, the Big Red Machine. He also was with the Yankees, won championships with them in 77 and 78. Don Gullett, one of the most popular baseball players to come out of Kentucky, is from Greenup County. John Stevenson played for the Mets, Cubs, Giants, and Angels. Jesse Stewart, famous writer. Clint Hawk Thomas played for the New York Black Yankees. He is in the Negro Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So one of the best ever to play in Negro Baseball League. Like he's a legend. Like he's the Babe Ruth, kind of in the Negro Baseball League. Like he was one of the top ones.
Did you see where they officially made the stats in the Negro leagues to they counted them as professional stats?
They integrated them with the major leagues.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
If you look in the baseball record books now, it'll show like Ty Cobb is no longer considered like the highest career batting average.
He was number 2.
Yeah. Whitey Little, he was spot on. He said Don Gullett, Big Red Machine. Now, also Richard Witt. Now, he is a writer that won the Pulitzer Prize. So, Pulitzer Prize winner Richard Witt from Greenup County. Famous restaurant, Gerber's Restaurant. Hot Diggity Dog Restaurant. Trace Hermonas. Poppy's Cooking. Ruby's Cafe. The Depot. Corner Cone. And Armory Smokehouse. Those are your famous restaurants in Greenup County. Guys, that wraps up the beautiful Greenup County. Does it make you want to visit?
Hot Diggity Dog. I'm not sure. No, I've actually been to Greenup County once. It was actually where I got my last car. I'm not going to give the name of the lot because we're sponsored by a car lot, but it's a very beautiful place.
I'll say this: any place called Hot Diggity Dog that has my that automatically has my interest. I'm going to go grab a hot dog there or something.
It definitely piques my interest, and is that the best name of restaurant? Poppy's? Yeah, the Depot, I know you guys haven't seen it, but the Depot is actually it's a former bank that they've turned into a restaurant. So pretty neat if you go in there. And I tell you, somewhere else around here, do you know where else they've turned a bank into a restaurant close to us?
Trailhead.
I forgot about that.
Ooh,
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Now, Bradley, do you know somebody close to you?
Yes, I do. The old Bank of Mingo in Naugatuck. Tyson's Restaurant.
So, big shout out there, to the people turning banks into restaurants. It's happening every day now. So, I don't know what that says for our economy, but it definitely
good buildings.
Yeah, good buildings. Yeah, banks build good buildings that last a long time. But Tyson's, if you go in there, it ended up getting flooded. But I tell you, one interesting thing, a water line broke and it got flooded in there. And the one thing that didn't get water in it was the safe. It filled up over top of the safe, but the safe didn't get water in it. So, when you put your money or your safety deposit box in banks, you can bet they're safe. Brad, I tell you got something on your mind there.
No, just more of a thought. Like, if you're eating in a bank, I wonder, if they could have you like eating the vault experience, right? Just shove you in there.
That would be neat if these restaurants to do that. Yeah. David Marshall says Hot Diggity Dog is a really good one. Where is it located? Is it off the 4-lane? David, let us know. I remember going up to Greenup County. We used to play our Christmas tournaments in Greenup County. And I remember they had one kid that could absolutely play above the rim. This kid was nasty. Dunk it any way you wanted. And we would always stay in Portsmouth there. But the Greenup County Christmas Tournament was always one of my favorite to ever go in. I mean, they done it right up there, and they made you feel like family whenever you went up there. Loved the Greenup County Christmas Tournament. I don't know if it still goes on, but if it ain't, they should bring it back. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Hopefully, here soon we'll have Travis Graff with us. And then we got an interesting story that JJ brought to our attention, and it involves sharks. Come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show. You're watching the D&D Sports Network.
Incorporated Little Flower Clinic announcing help needed. We're seeking donations of gift cards to help us make a difference for our homeless and at-risk patients. Gift cards will be used for new clothing, new underwear, and personal hygiene items. If you're interested in helping, please contact us. Call Kendra Cole at 606-487-9505, extension 342, or mail your gift cards to Little Flower Clinic, 279 East Main Street, Hazard, Kentucky, 41701.
Oceana Discount Tobacco today. Nobody can beat Oceana Discount Tobacco's great prices or their great services. You're treated like family from the second you walk through the door. We want to thank Oceana Discount Tobacco for sponsoring today's events. Go follow them on Facebook.
Back here on the Startup Morning Show, JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, and Darryl McCoy. Guys, hopefully we'll have Travis Graff with us here soon. But as promised, Bradley, have you heard the big story that is impacting sharks across our great universe here?
I have not, but I have a feeling JJ is going to let us know something here.
Okay.
JJ, tell us what's been going on with the sharks.
If the prospect of sharks lurking just off of the beach wasn't frightening enough, researchers in Brazil have discovered a new reason to be unnerved. Some of them have cocaine in their system. In a study published last week, researchers tested 13 sharks off of the coast of Rio de Janeiro and found that all had traces of cocaine in their liver and muscle tissues. The levels of cocaine found in these sharks were reported to be as much as 100 times higher than in previously observed marine life.
Guys, I've heard of cocaine bears. I've heard of cocaine Annie, but I've never heard of cocaine sharks. What's going on with the world?
Hey, that's the last thing you want to run across, when you're in the ocean, is like a coked up shark coming at you.
Oh, I definitely don't want to run into that, Bradley. I can't move already, and I definitely couldn't outrun a shark on cocaine. So, but when you sit there, that just goes back to the impact, that humans make on the world that they don't realize, and I'm sure the only way that the sharks are going to get cocaine is, through drug smugglers, losing packages in the water and stuff like that. So, something that, I don't think it'll ever impact us, but, I'm sure that it's not good for marina life. So, do better, drug smugglers, protect your cocaine. Stay to the land, go to air, not sea. You're hurting our animals. Now, when you sit here, people talk about the impact that humans have on stuff like that. And obviously the number one thing that comes up is global warming. And I do think, I think that people use global warming to scare us a lot. But I do think there's something to global warming, because when I was growing up, here's the thing that I miss. I miss, no matter what, you knew from November until definitely May, 1st of May, that you was going to have snow. And now it just does not seem right to on Thanksgiving and Christmas have 80-degree weather. And when I was a kid, I would have loved that because we used to play the old turkey bows, in football, on Thanksgiving. We used to, do all that stuff. I would have loved that as a kid. But right now, I miss that, man. I want cold weather. I want to be cuddled up from November to May. Guys, what's your thoughts? Global warming, does it have a huge impact, and have you seen the difference?
I'd like to see a white Christmas.
I'd love it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we can get in debates all we want to. The Earth's hotter. You're right. The winters aren't as harsh as they used to be, but I do miss those snows sometimes. I mean, there's just some things, just open your eyes. There's, whatever the cause, I'm not going to get into that debate, but whatever the cause, there's something to it. There's definitely something to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to it, but here's the thing, like people, they act like that, coal and stuff like that really impacts it. Well, we've had the hottest weather we've had since Obama's war on coal, and since we went more to greener stuff. So, I don't understand exactly, what's causing it, and I don't think that they truly know. But it's obviously happening because you see icebergs that's melting every day and, stuff like that. But, I don't think that, our coal or our coal temples have as much to do with it as what we thought, because, it was always cold when coal was around. You get rid of coal and it's been hotter and pissed.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, one of the hottest recorded years in history, of course, that's changing right now, was 1936. So, you go from 36 and it's just now getting a little bit hotter. I mean, I don't know. There also is like a natural part of the thing where the Earth goes through hotter and colder cycles. So one thing though I've learned is to stay in my lane. And you know what? I am not a scientist who researches all that, but it is an interesting topic. It's definitely warmer now though than it used to be.
I play one on my on TV, a scientist, and I do think that stuff like that does matter to some point. You'd think it would have to, but not what people think. And I think there's other stuff going on, that's causing it, and I'd like to see exactly the impact of certain things that's going on. They always talk about green, going green and getting rid of coal, but here in the mountains, I still think going green hurts us more than it helps us, because here's the thing: if a coal mine goes up and goes into a mines and uses that to fund and to create jobs for 100 years, well, when that coal mines leaves, you know what they're going to do? They're going to reclaim it. They're going to put a school up there, a raceway, an industrial park. They're going to do something that's going to help us, to where if you bring windmills and stuff in here, they're going to chop down our mountains and they're going to put windmills up there, that's going to destroy our mountain and the environment more than what any coal mines ever would. And that's what people don't understand. It's not always, you'd like to say that, but I think, we save the environment more by just mining the coal that God put on this earth.
Well, I mean, whatever, pollution and stuff or whatever coal had, it's dwarfed by everything that's happening in some countries. Like, for example, we know China just, I mean, they don't, you remember the Beijing Olympics? I mean, there was like smog in the air. You had like, during the marathon, you had runners, struggling to breathe and stuff like that. So, I mean,
exactly, Bradley. Exactly. That is the perfect case. Why let China and them continue to prosper and, create good living for their people whenever, and living off coal, when, we can produce that right here. We have, the best coal on earth right here under our grounds, and we're not taking advantage of it. we've got to get back to that. And I hope that that's one thing Trump does. I hope that he kind of lowers some of the emission tests for coal mines. And, I hope we're able to get back to where, we can live off, the minerals that we have right here in our area. We've got to get back to that. And, so, I don't know, going back to global warming, I don't know how much, but, I do think we need to keep an eye on it, but I don't think that coal has as much to do with it. And I do love what one city in Wisconsin did is, instead of taking up land to put, windmills and solar panels on their parking lots, they would take and put, like covered carports. Their parking lots was like carports, but they would have solar panels on the tops of them. So the solar panels was in parking lots. So, but you do that. Now, here's what's going to happen. In 30 years, you're going to have a lot of people that's going to have a lot of problems with them because they was near them solar panels. I guarantee you, watch and see if that don't pop up.
It's almost like everything that they try to do to make this place better, there ends up being like a con that comes with it somewhere down the line. That ends up being just as bad as what they were trying to change in the first place.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But you was talking about the Olympics. LeBron James picked to be the flag bearer for the U.S. First ever men's basketball player to hold that honor. What's your thoughts?
Jesus, they're just trying to make him be the first at everything. It's like last year whenever they did that stupid play-in tournament, just so he could have something else on his resume.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an honor, though.
I mean, say what you want about LeBron, but he's kind of been like a staple in the Olympics as well, right?
Yeah.
And you can get into the GOAT debate or whatever, and I don't think he's the GOAT, but is he one of the best players ever? Yes. I think I can say that. He's one of the best, but I don't have an issue with LeBron carrying it. I mean, I don't think anyone would have had an issue with, say, someone like Michael Phelps or something carrying it. So,
all right, guys, we're going to we just had our guest ring the doorbell here, so we're going to bring him in. Without further ado, Travis Graff. Good morning, Travis.
Morning. How's it going, guys?
Good. How's things going? Where are you at right now?
I'm at home finally. I've been down at Peach Jam I was down there for 11 days, so glad to be home for a few.
Well, you live in Lexington?
No, I live in Louisville.
Okay, live in Louisville. Peach Jam. Let's talk a little bit about Peach Jam and some of the players that caught your eye. Well, first of all, before we go into Peach Jam, give people a little background on who you are and what you do. That way that the people that don't know you can get familiar with you, Travis.
Yeah, for sure. So, I work for Made Hoops as a national scout. We got one of the biggest scouting services in the country. We do camps, events all across the country. We got a high school circuit now, the top independent high school circuit in the country in year one. And then actually have a Kentucky team on that as well. So got some bluegrass representation. Used to be the national guy at Rivals, and then transitioned over to Made Hoops. So just been in basketball for full time now for 5-6 years.
Well, what made you get into that? Growing up, your playing life. Tell us a little bit about your history there, where you come from, where you grew up, and how you ended up where you're at today.
Yeah, so I grew up in Bardstown, Kentucky, bourbon capital of the world.
Yep.
Great small town. Just actually had a blue collar background, worked construction for a few years out of high school, and then just really wanted to get into sports. Started off getting into writing, and then I liked doing the behind the scenes stuff a lot more as well than just writing. So just transitioned a little bit at a time. Then once I got full time into basketball, I was like, I want to do this instead of just writing all the time. So.
We got plenty of time to talk about basketball. Let's talk about Bardstown before we go any further here. Bardstown, a lot of unsolved murders there in Bardstown. What do you think about your town and I guess, the popularity they've got for, not such a great thing? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Because it was the year before all that stuff started happening. It was voted most beautiful small town in America by like the Travel Channel or something like that. And then and then it was just rang off one after the other, and then it's like I don't want to say too much about it, but it's it's a it's a hotbed for unsolved murders.
Are you surprised that and listen, at the end of the day, you hate that something negative like that is tied to your hometown, but, it's attracted a lot of tourism. Are you surprised with all the tourism that's come with that?
No, I didn't realize until I got older, like, how big the bourbon industry is.
Yeah.
And like how many people, because Bourbon Fest used to be a big thing for the locals out there. But then they made it where it's all high end, out of town people that come in, and like it's just a bunch of wealthy people that come from all over the world to try different types of bourbon. So
that definitely, I recommend to anybody. Bardstown's one of the most beautiful towns in Kentucky. I highly suggest anybody get a chance to go. You take advantage of that trip. But going down to Peach Jam this weekend, some of the big names coming out of there. Let us know who grabbed your attention.
Just the same ones. AJ DeBonsa, Tyron Stokes out of Louisville was probably the best player there all week.
Wow.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. Had at least one triple double, and came close to a couple other times, and then Boozers came away with the three-peat. So Night Riders are a heck of a program.
I seen that, and you may know a little more than me. I asked my son yesterday when we was talking about it. I said, "Has anybody ever three-peated the Peach Jam? Do you know?"
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head. At least since I've been in it, there hasn't been. But not off the top of my head that I can think of that's won 15 through 17U.
Travis, you're around UK sports a lot there, and used to cover it, quite well. Jasper Johnson, he's one that everybody's hoping. We had him on the show the other day. Yesterday, his list of 5 come out: Arkansas, Kentucky, Alabama, Louisville, and UNC. Right now, who's the leader in the clubhouse in your mind in Jasper Johnson's decision?
I think that it's going to come down to, he put out a top 5. It's going to come down to a final 3 of Alabama, Kentucky, North Carolina, in my opinion.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to ask you, with, Mark Pope coming over, everybody knows Mark Pope's system's a little bit different. He's he's more of a system guy, likes guys that stand out, shoot the 3-ball well. Players that Cal was recruiting heavily, and Darren Peterson, we cover all of his games here on D&D Sports, all of his home games, and I know Calipari, was recruiting quite hard. But now that the Pope, I've had Peterson's camp, reach out, and I know he's still interested in Kentucky, but I've seen the Kentucky connection slow down a little bit there, and I think a lot of it is because the system at Kentucky plays. Him or Jasper. Do you see either one of them? Are they good fits for Kentucky?
Yeah, I think both of them would be really good fits. The biggest thing for Mark Pope going forward is, for players of that caliber, is he's got to get one and done under his belt. Just as an example, because that's the biggest thing that comes up in conversation with those caliber kids.
Yeah, that's when another big name that everybody is definitely waiting to see where he falls here in Kentucky is Moreno. Pope have a legit chance at him? And do you know anything about what his list is looking like right now?
Yeah, I think UK's in fantastic position for Moreno. I don't think it's a lock, but I think that they're in really great spot coming down the stretch. Couple Big Ten teams in there as well. I know for the longest time he's really liked Baylor, but Baylor didn't even make his Final Eight, so it's
Okay.
kind of all over the place. But I think Kentucky, Indiana's been in there. So, but I think Kentucky's going to be a mainstay until the end.
Well, we've seen Travis Perry turning a lot of heads with his shooting ability, and I always knew, I covered Travis a lot, so I always knew his game would translate. But I really think he's going to thrive under Mark Pope in a Mark Pope system more than what he would of a Calipari system. But Trent Noah, do we see Trent Noah? We know he had a fabulous showing at the Sweet 16 last season. Does Trent Noah get PT this year, major PT time at the University of Kentucky?
I don't see him getting a lot of playing time as a freshman just because they got so many super seniors and seniors, especially on the wing. But I think long down the line, I'm a huge fan of Trent Noah in Mark Pope's system in Kentucky, and I think the same thing. I think you nailed it with Travis Perry. I don't know what it will look like under Calipari, but I think he's got a lot of upside in Mark Pope's system.
Yeah, last year I was surprised that the Sweet 16. To me, it was one of the best Sweet 16s that I've watched in many years. You had two future Kentucky Cats in Noah, Travis Perry going for the championship, but there wasn't one Kentucky coach in the building. Was you surprised? And how excited are you for the Mark Pope era? Do you think it'll get back to the BBN days that we all want?
I think if you're a Kentucky fan, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. It's a different voice, like Calipari said. Like Kentucky's only a 10-year job, in my opinion, and Mark Pope already has the fan base behind him. Like where the last regime did a great job, it just kind of got stale. The same pitch, the same press conferences, stuff like that. I think hearing a new voice in there is going to be big for the fan base.
JJ, go ahead.
I have one question. What do you think is one thing that separates a good scout from a bad scout?
Just being in the gym. There's a lot of with social media now. There's a lot of scouts that just go off of highlight tapes and they end up being like promoters instead of. You gotta be able to tell the kids the truth. You gotta tell the coaches the truth, like what you see. Like if you think a kid is better than coaches think, you gotta tell them that. If you think a kid is like not this caliber, you gotta tell their coaches that. Because there's a lot of people pleasers in the business.
That's one thing that I can't stand watching are highlight tapes. Like I would much rather sit down and watch a full game. Like I know you can watch, AAU games and stuff like that, but like I would like to sit down and just watch a high school game, just to see how these kids play and stuff.
I've got a lot of videographer friends, and I always say that they're magicians because they can make a kid that scored 4 points in a game look like an All-American.
Yeah. Well, here's a great example, Travis, is my the other day, I put, quite a few highlights out of my son a lot and, on my personal page. And, your average fan don't really realize, and I didn't connect that until I seen two women that are average basketball fans, big time basketball fans here, but they've been watching his videos and they said I've watched this kid all summer. He's only missed one basket. And it clicked to me like, these people, they're not comprehending. These are highlights. I'm like, he does miss, and but the videographers these days are insane. Everybody's doing it, and they're a great, I think, a great tool. But I really think when COVID started, Travis, that a lot of schools cut back, the money they was putting toward recruiting. So social media become even more important. And I think now that things are slowing down and getting back to normal a little bit, I would like to see the recruiters. You don't see the days like you seen back in the day whenever you go to a gym and the gym's full. You see Division One or whether it's D2 NAIA coaches lining the sidelines. You don't see that much. The last time I seen that, and probably the only time in 3 years, is at Woodford County last year when Peterson and Jasper went mano a mano.
Yep.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah, the recruiting budgets. Well, it's not even really COVID as much now as streams are so readily accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's human nature. Like, if like your son is playing 5 hours away, there's a lot of times that you're like, hey, I'm just gonna watch this at the crib. I'm gonna turn this on the TV. So it's that's been a big part of it. But I think coaches were out in full force over the last couple of weeks. So it's just high school basketball in Kentucky. Unless you're in Louisville or Lexington, it's hard to get to, especially if you're out of state program.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that, and I think a lot of that too is, coaches, AAU is so prominent nowadays that, a lot of the coaches are going to these AAU events to watch these kids instead of the high school games, where they can go watch one kid in the high school game, but they can go to an AAU event and see 15 of the kids that they might recruit. So, it makes a lot of sense. And then you add the social media aspect in. I mean, you can see why the drop off there. But Bradley, before I get any further with him, you got any questions for Travis?
I do. Travis, who are some of the guys who we may not know a lot about now, but in the next year or two, we're really going to start hearing about?
So, W.E.B. Du Bois in Louisville is got a lot of good 2027 kids that are going to be at least mid-major, in my opinion. Josh Lindsay has a big chance at St. X. He's an incoming freshman, 5'10", windmills, like freak athlete. The 2028 class at Kentucky is going to be pretty solid. But the 2027 class also has a lot of sleepers that are a lot of them are gonna be at camp this weekend, and so they're gonna make a big name for themselves against good competition.
And what about some of the other Kentuckiana kids out there? I have my in-laws living right across the river in Sellersburg, so I'm getting the down low for them,
Yeah, for sure. So Trey Singleton was a guy that blew up. He came to camp last year. He blew up. Now he's getting he got like Louisville, Purdue, Notre Dame, Wake Forest, a few others over the past week or two. Jeffersonville has him and a couple other mid-major kids. They're going to be one of the best teams in Indiana. They all play AAU together, and they play on an Adidas Gold team that was only lost to a couple of EYBL teams by like 4 or 5 points, and same with some 3 SSB teams down at Rock Hill. Noah Washington is a really good prospect. That's an incoming freshman. He's going to be at least top 10, 15 in the country. And he goes to New Albany over there.
Yeah, that 2027 class, you hit it nail on the head. And, that the boys team, WB Du Bois, we got a chance to see them this summer. Here in the mountains, that 2027 class is stacked, man. I mean, it's been the most heavy class I've seen in a while since the 23 class, I think, was the last great class that I've seen. But here in the mountains, you got Braxton Keithley, Austin Sloan, Caleb Rimmer, Elijah Neal, Zaid Rash, Brody Little. I mean, I don't know that any class. This is probably the deepest class I've seen in a long time. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, it's a really deep class in the mountains, especially like I said, it just takes a while just logistically for mountain kids to get noticed.
Yeah.
To out-of-state programs. It just depends on AAU. It depends on a bunch of different factors. Living outside of a big city, because it's hard to get to certain areas of Kentucky if you're an out-of-state program.
Well, that brings me to why we got you here today, Travis. This weekend, Made Hoops Camp in Louisville, Kentucky, the 27th, 28th. First of all, how important is it? You talked about, mountain kids and how hard it is, sometimes, for coaches to get out this way. How important is it for kids to attend camps like this Made Hoops Camp?
Well, this one in particular is it's unique because we've got, like I said, we've got one of the largest scouting services in the country. Work alongside a lot of college programs. We got a lot of influential people in the building, and then we have a lot of high-end talent as well that you don't always get at camps around here. Like even from out of state, we'll have 16 or 17 ranked kids nationally. And then the main thing is it's a one size fits all. So, I mean, there's a lot of kids in Kentucky that aren't going to play D1. So it's nice to have the high level kids there, but at the same time on the coaching staff, the coaches that are running the camp, we got local, regional, D2, D3, NAIA coaches that are going to be there evaluating, working alongside the kids. And then there's also more staffs that are coming in just to scout. So it's a good platform. Everybody there gets a profile made. Everybody there gets write-up, scouting reports sent out to all the college coaches. So it's a really good opportunity, good platform. We got 20 spots left, so it's a good opportunity for kids that don't get noticed to have the platform, because there's kids that blow up. We got 450,000 followers on Instagram. If a kid from the mountains comes in, has a poster dunk, it's getting posted within 5 minutes. And then that kid blows up, his following. Coach is like, all right, who's this kid? Stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you one kid that may fit that may fit that scale is a young man by the name of Parker Watts. Keep an eye on him coming in from the mountains.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to have him there. Already got a commitment graphic out for him, and he, of course, in the commitment graphic, he's punching a dunk in too. So
he's insane athletically. He's the most athletic kid, Travis, that I've covered in the D&D era. Maybe the most athletic kid I've seen since Todd Tackett back in the day at Paintsville. But he's if there's a rebound coming off the rim, there's a good chance that Parker's he's going to feed somebody a sack lunch. So as you sit there, and you got a couple mountain kids like that. Another kid you want to keep an eye on, Austin Sperry.
Yep. Austin, big fan of Austin Sperry. Known him for a few years. He came. He's the kid that I'm wanting to get in the dunk contest. And that's another thing is we have dunk contests at this camp for about 30 minutes of camp. So need to get him and Parker in it. But no, Austin's a human highlight reel, man.
Listen, I promise you this. That'll be one of the most watched events that you've ever had, especially by Eastern Kentucky folks, if you get Parker and Austin Sperry in a dunk contest.
Yeah, got to make that happen. For sure.
Now, and some of the, I've seen a lot of big names from the mountains pop up there. Jackson Estridge, Peyton Davis, Caleb Rimmer, Elijah Neal, trying to think, Trayton Woods, I think, just signed up, played in the Sweet 16 last year. So I'm excited to come down there. And, not just me, I've talked to a couple other friends of other media outlets. That's the other thing. You not just got college coaches. There's going to be a slew of media outlets in the house checking this camp out. So, them 20 spots, I highly suggest if you're listening right now, you get a hold of Travis and try to lock up one of them spots, because this is a very important event for, all prospects to attend. Now, where for folks that's wanting to come and watch it, Travis, tell them the gymnasium, time it starts, a little information about the camp.
Yeah, so it's going to be this Saturday and Sunday at Mid-America. There's two Mid-Americas in Louisville. It's going to be the one on Waterston Trail. It's the main Mid-America, not Mid-America East. It's going to start 8 o'clock each day. We're going to go from 8 to 6 on Saturday and 8 to 2 on Sunday. Then we'll have, after 2 o'clock, we'll have the top 20 game, the top 40 game. That's another thing, too, is with all the all the coaches they're voting on those games, and it's a good. So we have, like, if you ever play 2K, we have different badges on our player profiles on our site. If you make the top 20, top 40 game, that automatically goes on your profile, and that's an eye catcher for college coaches as well. But between the college coaches and all the media, like Darryl said, like, you're not going to fall through the cracks if you come there and do your thing. Like, you're going to get promoted.
That's it. Now, Travis, is there anything else coming up or anything you want to push before we let you go?
No, I guess the easiest way for people that are watching this that want to sign up, you can go to my Twitter. It's at Travis Graff Hoops, my first and last name Hoops. And then I've been tweeting out the flyer and all that, and then there's a discount code on all the tweets with a link. So,
okay, we'll share that out on the rest of our social media sites as well. And Travis, can't wait to see the camp. Can't wait to catch up with you up there. And after the camp, maybe the following week, if you get a little bit of time, may have you come on and talk a little bit about the camp and some of the players that caught your eye.
Yeah, for sure. Gotta promote the mountain kids, man.
That's it. I sure appreciate everything that you do. I'm a big fan, have been a big fan for a long time. What you do, not just with high school, but with UK sports and other stuff. You keep doing what you're doing, man, and I'll see you, I guess, Saturday morning bright and early.
Sounds good, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Travis.
Travis.
Guys, Travis Graff, listen, he's one of the most respected. Like, if Travis Graff puts something out in the media, it's true. He's got his ear to the concrete, in the recruiting world. One of the best we got here in the state.
Yeah, he seems very knowledgeable, and I love his opinion on like what separates a good scout from a bad scout.
Yeah,
that was one of the things that stood out to me the most.
Yeah, Jasper Johnson. We talked about Jasper Johnson cutting his list down to 5. That's huge. But Bradley, I know you get ready to say something. Go ahead before we go into that.
Well, I mean, one thing I really liked about, what I like about Travis is kind of what you were getting at, JJ, but it's just the fact that, he lives and breathes it. When you just go by stats, it's, or highlights, you got to see a player because every player makes mistakes. You got to see what their bad tendencies are as well. And I think a lot of times if you just watch highlights and don't watch anything else, you don't get a really good scope of the player. And also, my father-in-law will be very sad to hear that Bama wasn't on one of the final 3 for Jasper Johnson. So, sorry, Tom. But anyway, that's kind of what I thought about. My father-in-law's a Bama grad.
He did? I thought he said Bama was.
I thought he said it was Kentucky, North Carolina, and I can't remember the other one. Maybe he did say Bama.
I think he said. I think he did say Bama. I think his top 5 is Arkansas, Alabama, Kentucky, Louisville, and Carolina. And I thought he said Kentucky, Bama, and Carolina was the leaders in the club.
I thought he said Arkansas. Listen, I was just happy Louisville was left out, but maybe my father-in-law will be happy then. So I don't know. Good luck anyway, Tom. Listen, that man hates Kentucky as much as I love watching Kentucky. So we some great arguments.
They now whenever you take and look, well, I tell you what, we got to take one more commercial break. We'll come right back for the final segment. You're watching the Startup Morning Show. Bradley Dameron, JJ Pruitt, and Darryl McCoy.
Pass, bring them to Hall and Jones Funeral Home in Virgie, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall and Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall and Jones.
Drug today and let them fill your prescription. Eric Holman Drug has been serving the Chapmanville community for over 46 years. They're a proud supporter of the Chapmanville Tigers and all mountain athletes. Back here on the Startup Morning Show, JJ Pruitt, Bradley Dameron, and Darryl McCoy. Want to thank you folks for starting your morning with us. Want to thank Travis Graff, basketball recruiting analyst, coming on, telling us all the things going on around the nation with the top prospects, talking about the Made Hoops camp and all the players that's ready to show out this weekend. 3 Martin County kids, Jackson Eschridge, Peyton Davis, and Parker Watts, headed down there to show out. Austin Sperry will be there, Trayton Woods, Caleb Brimmer, Elijah Neal. I mean, a load of talent from the Cofield. I think Tyson Lalonde from Ashland might be there. So I am stoked. But, guys, Jason Blair says he cannot believe, and I agree with this, why have LeBron be a flag bearer when just a couple years ago he kneeled for the national anthem?
You want to go first, Bradley?
Listen, man, I know this may be a controversial take. It's hard for me to penalize someone for a protest when it's a country built off of protest. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the entire country started as a protest to what was happening with us from England. Now, that doesn't mean I agree with the protest. You know, I'm not going to say I agree with the protest, but I think that's one of our most fundamental rights. And if you take away that right and you penalize people for protesting, it's a slippery slope, because you never know whoever's in power. You know, if you don't like how things are going and you want to protest, well, you don't want that used against you either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you. It's freedom of speech at the end of the day. I mean, whether or not you think it's disrespectful or not disrespectful, I mean, you know, I'm not saying I agree with, you know, what he did, but I'm like you, you know, like our Constitution was built on, you know, freedom of speech, regardless, because people used to burn crosses. I mean, there's so many ways people used to burn flags. Like, there's been so many different forms of protests that, you know, have been somewhat disrespectful, but I guess you got to take the good with the bad. I mean,
and if you're going to, oh, sorry, JJ.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but, you know, that's just the way that the world is. I mean,
and there's still consequences, you know, for your, you know, it doesn't mean that you're free of consequences, but I do think it's kind of a weird thing to, I mean, like it would be kind of weird, because you just think of all the laws that we've had that we don't like. I know there are some laws out there that a lot of us don't like.
Yeah.
And if we didn't like, or something going on. So I don't know. That's my whole thing of it. Like,
well, my thing is, listen, at the end of the day, it's all up to, I guess, what your personal thoughts are. You know, myself, you know, I don't even like that there's Olympic athletes that are wearing the USA jersey that kneeled for our national anthem. I don't like that, you know, but being a flag bearer, that's a special, very special opportunity that athletes get. You know, there's been very few people over the course of the Olympic history that's been able to hold that American flag and be that flag bearer. They've never been a basketball player. You know, putting LeBron there would be like putting Colin Kaepernick or Jane Fonda there. You know, I don't want to see any of them carrying the American flag after the way they disrespected it. So, you know, I'm not for it, but, you know, listen, LeBron's a global star. So, I mean, I do understand why they chose him, but I think they also, the Olympic people may not have been aware so much of LeBron's history and the kneeling history. I think if they would have took that into consideration, we might have somebody else carrying it.
Do you remember back in 1996, I think it was, when Muhammad Ali got a chance to, you know, got a chance to hold the torch? Or
he got to light the torch, light the flame in the stadium.
So who would be somebody that would be that equivalent today? Like, who would be that guy? Or do we even have somebody like that, you know, would be a good selection?
I don't know if there's anyone that you could ever pick those as big as Muhammad Ali. Oddly enough, interesting point.
Jordan would be the guy.
I don't think Jordan even reaches that status as Ali, though, man.
No, but Ali, he was a star when we didn't have, you know, cable, and when TV and stuff first started coming out. You know, Ali was a global star, and he was a personality. Jordan, he wasn't so much the personality that Ali was.
Well, the thing with Ali was
basketball player.
another thing with Ali was he lost some of his best years because of the war, right?
Yeah.
He did. He spent time in prison again for protesting.
Guys,
for not
before we go
knowing-
before we go any further in this, I want to tell a very special young lady that just tuned in, Kiara Thornsberry. Happy birthday, Kiara, from the
Happy
startup
birthday,
crew.
Kiara.
Absolutely, happy birthday.
Now, going back to what you was talking about, you know, we've Ali lost his prime because of protest, because of the war.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, if Ali was good enough to light a torch after that, and by the way, Muhammad Ali many times over proved himself to be a great humanitarian. And you know, I mean, the man went and like met with Saddam Hussein and stuff to help free, you know, some hostages. I mean, come on, you know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Ali is up there on an entire level, but I guess that's one of those things. If Ali could light a torch, I don't have that big of a problem with LeBron holding a flag.
Listen, you talk about Ali doing that. Don't leave out Dennis Rodman going and talking to North Korea.
Liz, I would, you know what? I don't ever want to go to North Korea, but I would still kind of like to have like a little spy cam just to see Rodman and Kim Jong Un just sitting there, whatever they were doing. I don't know, man. That had to be the wildest little thing ever.
I would have loved to have heard that conversation, what it was, but I understand why it was like that, because over there they don't get like access to cable television and stuff like we do. And you know, one thing that come about is, you know, Kim Jong Il knew who Rodman was from the movie Demolition Man. That's how he knew Rodman, and so definitely intriguing there. But it, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you know, I would have liked to seen somebody else carrying that flag, but you know, I can understand LeBron is a global star, and you know, whether his thoughts on the U.S. or not, I don't really mind. But the thing is you know, America's still proud of LeBron. We got a lot of Americans that are proud to call him an American. So, you know, I guess let him represent it, but. You know, I wouldn't have argued if they wouldn't have let him either.
And in today's world, Darryl, think of all the views that's going to get. The views, the clicks, LeBron carrying in the flag. You know, that's going to go everywhere.
Yep. So, guys, that brings us to the end of our show today. We still had a lot of topics to get on, but, you know, we didn't get to all of our topics today, but we'll have them tomorrow, bright and early, 8 a.m. Make sure you guys join. I do know we'll have Phelps head Lady Hornets coach Justin McCoy on tomorrow. So make sure y'all join us tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. We want to thank you for starting your mornings with us every weekday here, 8 to 10 a.m. Bradley Dameron, JJ Pruitt, Darryl McCoy. Till next time, good day.